Hello guys, Zach Ferguson here of Articulate Warbling. I've finally gotten around to watching Alien Romulus, and all I can say is, Fede Alvarez. Oh man, this man delivered so much. He delivered in a way that I didn't anticipate. I don't think I've left a film feeling this rattled and charged and fist pumping since a very long time. Certain movies just get into you. You can appreciate the spectacle and all of the artistry that goes on screen, but you also feel the tension generated by direction, performances, edit, score. And I haven't enjoyed a movie like this since, I'd say, Interstellar. It was just transcendental. It felt like I was watching an alien film. And this isn't to diss the previous movies with returning director Ridley Scott behind the wheel, because I really rate Alien Covenant, a movie alongside Prometheus that I can't deny I really adore. We put those pitchforks down. I will admit Covenant is a far better movie out of those two. Calm down. I feel that what was considered failings in those two prequels, this film kind of skirts around it cleverly, but it still integrates elements, so you feel that it's akin, it's of a piece, that it is a sequel, all whilst being its own footnote or chapter in the alien mythos. And it's really clever how it's managing to balance out so many variables. It's managing to combine Ridley Scott's make it up as you go along, George Lucas styled pivots and careening and ever alternating mythology.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
Every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one. Hopefully.
But it makes it feel fresh, all whilst bringing it back to its claustrophobic, gritty, textural, grungy roots, the antiquated, lived-in feel. Only this is a Fede Alvarez film. This guy loves his gore. Just watch his requel of The Evil Dead. That movie is... I feel that the same sense coming out of seeing that, my first Fede Alvarez movie, is that sense of uncomfortableness, that weird kick and goosebumps and just that adrenalized sensation you get from a really well-made propulsive movie, and it makes you squirm, and he has a handle and tension and world building quite unlike many horror directors who somehow still have a career in Hollywood. Yes, James Wan, I'm looking at you. Get your act together, and everyone else under your tutelage. I think that we have supposedly lacked from an alien film tension, coherence, a continuity that makes sense. It's wrangled, not ignored, not stripped down to the bone, but nurtured, alongside being excised, slimmed down, and handled in as delicate as a way as you can do. Also, Scott was still in hand. There is no doubt that this guy was pretty adamant that if this movie didn't pay homage in some way to his prequels, there would be no chance that Alvarez would have got this gig. And it does amazingly. It takes elements from his recent prequels. And overall, he would have vetoed Alvarez's chances of ever directing an alien film if Fede Alvarez didn't come in with, look, I want to respect your continuity, but I want to do something new, fresh, whilst harkening back to the bygone era, but also really nurturing the mythology that you've tried to set out. And I mean, if it didn't go, well, I mean, he would have been able to make it. And I think a lot of people at Fox really questioned, yeah, why did we get Ridley back on board? And I understand people's complaints about the total tonal glossiness and weird different aesthetic. It's like the complaints for George Lucas's prequels. Everything, it hasn't got that aesthetic. It hasn't lived in or run in. Well, by the time you get to Alien Covenant, you do get that lived in film. But this is really pulling from the aesthetic and designs and elements of, H.R. Giger and everyone else involved. But if Ridley Scott didn't want you to make a movie, he would make sure you wouldn't. Even as much as Fox were like, do we really need Ridley to come back on? Also, the guy takes ages to come up with sequels But saying that, there was more time between this and Alien Covenant than there was between Prometheus, but my point still stands. Let's look at poor Neil Blomkamp's proposed sequel to Aliens. That guy stamped in and threw him out by the seat of his pants. And even waiting in the wings with Sigourney Weaver waving her hands in the air going, oh, I did like his idea. And you can just hear Scott.
Fuck you, thank you very much, fuck you, go fuck yourself. So
This movie, it cleverly focuses on the principles of the supposed blueprint that one supposedly needs to abide by when attempting to even get close to what Ridley and Cameron's beloved films Alien Aliens did. For me, I could get behind any Alien film, as long as the creatures look good, there is some gore, and it has some form of tension. Some form of stakes.
Salted pork.
I like all of the Alien films. You know, I'm not so precious about its original origins and the permeation around what its inherent rules and mythology was before Ridley stepped in and said,
fuck you, go fuck yourself.
And took it back into his grasp. Like I said, I like all of them, except Alien vs Predator Requiem. That was a travesty. They're all decent films. I believe that Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection are fascinating movies to watch, as they're time capsules to an era of franchise filmmaking. Yes, where the plot goes squiff, but the dedication and artistry cannot be ignored. There's a lot of care that's gone into it, the creation, unlike franchise films now. Marvel. Fede Alvarez hasn't directed a film since 2018, after the box office disaster that nobody asked for, but was still a lot of fun, which was The Girl in the Spider's Web. Since then, he has helped produce 2 films, the sequel, Don't Breathe 2, to his sensational 2016 movie, Don't Breathe, given over the reins to his longtime collaborator, Rodo. I hope I pronounced his surname right, Sataguz, let's just call him Rodo, and somehow contributing to the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre film ever. Luckily, those 2 only get story credits and producer credits, and I believe the blame of that film's failings, goes to the director and scriptwriter. And Fede seemed to have spent a long time percolating this idea, crafting this film, and that's why this feels so different from so many films made now. It's textural, from the art design, the sets. They've really gone back to the practicalities of things, practical effects, even hiring people like Phil Tippett to do stop motion. It's just unheard of, but it works. It doesn't throw you out of it. It is all a piece. It all feels aesthetically, stylistically coherent. And, you know, it's refreshing, even though still looping back into that age tech aesthetic of the original 3 films. Resurrection didn't have that aesthetic due to one mad-ass French director.
We were very concerned. Are you sick? What happened? And I said, no, you can't understand,
But it just fit in. It fills a piece with Prometheus, Alien Covenant, the original Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, hey, maybe even Alien Resurrection, but we know that continuity is vetoed. And it's lucky that Cameron's Aliens is that good, because then you can have somebody like Ridley Scott who goes, I can't deny genius and mastery. You can't spit in the face of genius and mastery. And we all know that Aliens is our preferred film. But when the return of Ridley came through, it was like, yes, this is interesting. Would we be interested in Cameron to come back? No, not at all. Let him just do his blue Alien films. I just love this film. It is intense. And it's a film that weaponises the main villain, the name, the title, in ways that Ridley and all other directors since the original from 1979 haven't really tapped into. Once you reveal that alien, you're like, yes, let's show him off. But this alien is still seeped in the shadows, merging in with the architecture of the ship. And this film goes wild in various avenues. Quick tangent, David Johnson is sensational in this. I love the concept that a broken simulant takes on the characteristics of a slow, mentally disabled, perhaps autistic character. I just love that. I just love that notion. I love that bravery and that boldness to go there. This concept that these AIs are meant to be like full functioning, sensational, but they have their flaws and they're thrown out. And it also gives reason behind why they keep replicating different versions of these simulants, these different, artificially embodied creations like David Ash. And he's a real standout. I think he really steals the show The rest of the cast is really good. I especially like Kaylee Spaney. I think that she does what needs to be done, and she doesn't fall into the bro boss female embodiment of a badass chick. It takes a long time for her character to get the gumption to fight back, to feel like she has the strength, and it's very fitting and tied in with his character. She doesn't feel that she can really gain that strength unless she has her brother beside her, which happens to be a simulant, who David Johnson plays. It's just a great piece of writing and performance. I love the relationship. It's a relationship between them that I really took to and cared about. And the switch, when the switch happens, fucking hell, it's brutal, and you kind of sympathise with Spaney's character, but you understand the necessity for this AI, when switched, when reprogrammed, when updated, to be so colossally opposed to the more, I wouldn't say simple, but more nurturing, more humanistic. It almost says you take out the analytical and the robotic nature. A broken robot is a more human robot. I think that's really interesting. Also, what is a commentary in a lot of ways about AI sentiments, as is. It's a really good piece of writing and character development between the two, and it's what really I really latched onto, being someone with autism myself, and I just thought he played it beautifully. And big spoiler warning now, we get a revive CGI mixture with a animatronic Ian Holm. Now, I don't agree with people saying that it's disrespectful and exploitative. They wouldn't have gone ahead if they couldn't, and I think it's very fitting a tribute. It's good to see this character still in existence, considering the timeline. If we saw David, it would make less sense, previously played by Michael Fassbender. It's necessary to have that character of Ash. It is necessary. And though the CGI looks a bit, it works, because once the simulant is fucked up, there's that kind of disconnectedness. It's a fucked up simulant. It's not meant to look real, and I think they really had fun with that. It's almost felt like Fede was trolling the audience, like mixing what was practical and CGI and really like confusing the eye, and it gives you that alien disjointed sensation. Once this thing that is passing itself as a human is broken down into some of its component parts, it makes you feel uneasy. But I think the inclusion of that was purposeful, necessary for the story, and it was really good to see. I mean, I gasped. I was like, oh my god, they fucking did it, and they did it well, because it made sense to the story, much like having the CGI recreation of Peter Cushing in Rogue One. Everyone bitching and moaning. I think they just like to have something to chew on. They like something to bitch and moan about. But I love this. It was transcended. I loved the themes, the tributes that Benjamin Wallfish did, whilst also just making his own really meaty, punchy score. I loved it. 5 stars. Go see it. I love the characters. I love to hate on the characters. It just works. It's propulsive. It goes at a good clip, and I'm invested. And I really hope that Alvarez sticks to this, because he was signed on and meant to do future Evil Deads, but when he went on and wanted to do other things, to discover other avenues, please stick on, because I think this suits you, and I think this franchise should be in your hands. I think you should culminate all these ideas that Ridley Scott apparently has, and give us a fulfilling trilogy. A trilogy that actually feels finished, and where they can go with the evolution of that creature at the end. But yeah, 5 stars. I loved it. Go watch it. And considering it was made on an 18 million budget, the CGI is splendid. The art design, the art direction, the sets, the props, the costumes. And I know a lot of people even criticise, but these aliens, it's there, it's not there, but that's the whole point. It's entrenching it in that mystery. It's entrenching it in that archaic sense of, is it there, isn't it? And when they do come to the light, it really goes into that militaristic, fuck you, action-packed rhythms that a James Cameron Aliens film did. I loved it. 5 stars. I absolutely fucking loved it. And if you want to be an articulate warber, hit subscribe, like, and if you want to share your opinions, write them down in the comments. Tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong, but keep things classy. Anyway, on to the next one.
Fuck you, thank you very much. Fuck you, go fuck yourself.